Tonight, the Trump administration warning water system operators across the country to take steps to protect against a, quote, significant increase in cyber threat actors targeting America's water supply. It comes as a senior law enforcement official tells NBC News that a cyber attack launched on more than 30 municipal water systems across Minnesota this week bears all the hallmarks of Iranian-backed hackers, though the official cautions the forensic analysis is still in its early stages. The FBI now leading the investigation.
We've never had a similar incident, so this is the first.
One town says its water network went temporarily offline.
The water tower was calling for water, but the well was not working.
Officials say crews were able to quickly get the water systems running again, and that there is no indication the cyber attack made any water supplies unsafe to drink. A potential new threat from the Iranian regime as overseas U.S. forces launching strikes against dozens of Iranian targets, including military command centers and missile and drone facilities. Aimed, CENTCOM says, at reducing Iranian threats to U.S. assets, commercial ships, and Gulf Arab allies. And all after the president vowed retaliation against Iran for its failed missile attack on American troops.
We're going to hit them very hard. I mean, I can actually say that because in that, there's very little they can do about it.
The president insisting a deal with the Iranian regime can still be reached, despite Iran breaking last month's ceasefire agreement within hours of signing it. Iranian strikes leading to U.S. retaliation.
They nevertheless took a shot, so it's our turn. And we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point.
Garrett, these potential hacks on our water systems are incredibly alarming. I know you have some late reporting on what the Trump administration says the hackers are doing to the water systems.
Yeah, Tom, the government cybersecurity agency says that hackers modified passwords to lock operators out of these computer systems. That in some cases, these resulted in boil water notices and forced the operators to take manual control of their systems back. Tom?
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app.
Our top story tonight, Iran is likely behind the widespread cyber attack on Minnesota water systems.
Now, this is all according to a report in the New York Times here. Fox 9's Mike Manzoni joins us now. And Mike, tonight, Senator Amy Klobuchar says she wants actually a briefing from federal investigators. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Tim and Simone, she also says she's now staying in touch with investigators here in Minnesota as well to make sure that they have the resources they need to get through this. Plymouth and South St. Paul were just two of the more than 30 water systems hit in the attack. It happened over a 2-day span from Sunday into Monday. And now, according to one report from the New York Times, U.S. officials now believe that Iran is likely responsible. Here is a look at all the cities that have publicly identified themselves as targets of the attack. In addition to Plymouth and South St. Paul, the attack impacted water systems in Maple Plain and in Bram. Minnesota IT Services put out a statement just hours ago saying, quote, "We are not attributing this activity to a specific threat actor at this time. Federal partners are best positioned to assess this incident." A cybersecurity expert says if Iran is to blame, it likely knew quite a bit about Minnesota water systems beforehand.
They must have quite a bit of information about all those systems, and then they knew how they were related to each other. And we had the attacks, but now they know that they happen, and they're applying, mitigation strategies. So I like to think that we're going to learn from this, and we'll be better prepared.
And we've reached out to the FBI, but it did not comment beyond saying that it is aware of that report that Iran is the likely culprit. Also an important reminder here, the water is still safe to drink, and experts say that this is really about sending a message to the United States, not contaminating the water supply. Tim, Simone.
All right, Mike, more to come in this for sure. Okay.
In Health Watch, the Trump administration is ending a Medicare subsidy program, which could raise premiums next year. The Biden-era program had lowered the cost of drug coverage for millions of Americans 65 and older. It was aimed to keep premiums for seniors' prescription drug plans in check. Once the subsidies are gone, millions of Medicare users will have to pay hundreds of dollars more per year for their medication plans. The Trump administration says it is ending the program because the health insurer no longer needs them. The changes are anticipated in 2027. Enrollees can find out the new monthly costs later this fall.
His family who spoke. Wells, of course, is the
A story making national headlines advanced in Nashville today.
It's the story of Nolan Wells, and it wasn't just his family who spoke. Wells, of course, is the 18-year-old whose body was found days after a 4th of July boat trip.
WSMV's Amber Jayanth reports the questionable deaths of his and other young black men were the focus today.
3 photos line the stage where civil rights attorney Ben Crump spoke during the National Urban League Conference at Music City Center. Tyler Smith, Nolan Wells, and Daniel Irving all died while out celebrating with friends.
When families face the challenge of a non-responsive criminal justice system, we must stand with these families.
Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who's representing each family, spoke about each case. Daniel Irving was on a swim team, went to a lake with friends on April 14th and did not come back home. His body was found 4 days later with his death being ruled an accidental drowning, findings his mother refuses to believe.
They said my son jumped off a bridge, and I know that's not the truth. He was found in water. The autopsy report shows my son had an unobstructed airway. So my son did not drown.
Crump says one of Irving's friends has recently been charged with tampering with evidence. Tyler Smith was fatally shot while at a party with friends in Lexington. Police say it was self-inflicted, but Crump says the firearm recovered did not match the shell casings on scene. Tyler's grandmother spoke, saying police never tested for gun residue.
As I talked to the police chief, I explained to him, he said, well, what do you want from this? What are you looking for? I said, what would you be looking for? We ask you to simply, the same way you go into our black and brown neighborhoods and you can investigate and you can interrogate and you can charge, give us the same respect.
In the third case, Nolan Wells was visiting Horn Island in Mississippi on July 4th when he went missing. His body was found 2 days later. Crump says his team has hired audio engineers to review audio tapes from the CTO call.
We are going to dot every I and cross every T until we find out what happened to Nolan Wells.
We will not rest until we get answers. And if you know something, you need to let us know. Please do not be afraid.
And this press conference was just one of several events happening that will continue through Saturday. We're told that more than 3,000 people are in attendance for this conference. And if you still want to come out, registration is still open. In Nashville, Amber Jayanth, WSMV4.
I need women to know that you're not limited to anything other than living your life openly and honestly.
Tonight, chaos in Ceuta, Spain's small Spanish territory that borders Morocco. Thousands and thousands of migrants seen crossing into Spain's North African enclave by water using inner tubes or other inflatable devices. This young man says he and his younger brother spent 2 hours at sea. Others say it took them 4 hours to swim. One man risking it all to bring his young family on the journey from Morocco's Tarahal beach. Once on land, herds of people then seen running into the city. Spain is known for its pro-immigrant stance. It recently launched a program to provide legal status for some 500,000 undocumented migrants, likely creating the influx. And for one migrant already living in Spain, he says the harsh realities are still ahead.
Around 600 people are wandering around Morocco looking for a chance to get in. I understand why. They're told that there's a future in Spain, and there are jobs there. And the truth is there are, but when they arrive, they're faced with the harsh reality that they have nothing, and people treat them as if they were nobodies.
Spain's president weighing in on X, saying in part, quote, "We are mobilizing all necessary resources, working with Moroccan and international authorities, and preparing the necessary measures to restore normalcy as soon as possible." Today's scene was reminiscent of the crossing that occurred back in May of 2021 when some 10,000 people from Morocco and sub-Saharan Africa, many of them minors, entered the enclave. In just a matter of days, 85,000 migrants made it in.